Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back to the Sunday Recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a bit about my last week in games, and as always we'll start with EVE Online. I would say all in all I had a pretty regular week of EVE Online, played a little bit every day, especially in the first part of the week. It's pretty easy to go out there because you got the skilling spree, so just grab a couple NPCs, earn some skill points, pretty easy to maintain together with my PI, and so overall just a little bit of anomaly cleaning and just some regular no drama EVE Online gameplay. Then after that we did get the mass test on Thursday. Now I made a recording of that one, but honestly it was not a good mass test from the perspective of did it all work fine and is it a video that I thought was worth putting out. Honestly it's not, because there were some serious graphical problems whenever you would move the camera, especially on zooming. It became a real slideshow, and so I didn't want to put you guys through half an hour of that type of experience, or just a fixed camera, which is in the end what I started doing, especially when we started shooting the Tatara and during the PvP battle. Just zoom out, don't move your camera. That was really all you could do, which made for a pretty interesting experience, because other than those graphical problems, everything seemed to work fine as far as I could tell, and we got a little bit of feedback from CCP Habakkuk during the mass test itself that yeah, it's on their side too, and the whole mass, that was actually the point of the whole mass test. So they deployed a change for DirectX 12 and some graphical updates, and they said that they had a good idea as to where the problem lies. So they should be able to improve things before it hits TQ, which is the whole point of a mass test. You never know what you're gonna get, and this time it was really a slideshow mass test. I mean, moving the camera, zooming in, zooming out, in and out of grid, just jumping through a gate, everything was really hard for the client, but overall I managed it without crashing. I did see quite a few reports of people crashing. I think on an older machine the client really has a problem, and then you just get kicked out by your system. But as I've mentioned as well, CCP said they got an idea where the problem lies, so I think a fix will be pretty easy for them to find. And then honestly, I didn't notice that much of a difference graphically, so I would say that in all likeliness it should be doable without that much of a hit to performance in general. Other than that, still looking forward to, of course, whatever CCP develops next. But yeah, summertime is coming. We are almost mid-June at this point, and it's going to be interesting to see how things will develop from here. While I'm playing in a Mars space, I have to say it's extremely empty. Most of systems I'm all on my own, which is great for a solo explorer, of course, because you do get a lot of signatures and anomalies to quickly clean up all by yourself. But you know, it does show that there's pretty low activity already, and the real summer has yet to start. With, as I mentioned during one of my EVE talks, I think a lot of people are basically planning to take a real holiday, to go to other countries, to just get away from things after all of the COVID problems, and then also now with the real life situation. I think everyone is suffering from inflation at this point, so I don't think you know, adding in the increased price from EVE Online, that we're gonna have an easy summer. But yeah, it's all up to CCP to decide if you know, this is the time for them to announce stuff, to maybe bring in stuff, to do some stuff around the story expansion that they're sort of trying to develop there. So we'll see how things evolve. I will, of course, try to keep you guys up to date as well as possible, but I do personally expect that we'll have a very difficult and relatively quiet thus summer in EVE Online this time. Next up, we've got a little bit more space engineers. So I think I've got a ship that's pretty decent. It's basically 2 blocks at this point. The front, really narrow block, focusing fully on everything that you need to have a mobile base, and it actually functions all on its own. But I did want to add in an extra block behind it. It's a little bit broader, including a little bit of free oxygen production and things like that as well, with some extra weapons. And the plan is actually to make that like a landing pad for a couple of smaller ships, maybe scout ships, mining ships. I'm still not sure what I want to do there, but it's definitely still a lot of fun. And at this point as well, I went in and tried to take on a salvage operation, pirate salvage operation, which is like probably the smallest base that you can encounter. And well, the new weapons, especially like artillery type weapons, they do outrange the AI, which gives you a massive advantage on something that doesn't move like one of these salvage bases. And so slowly creeping within range and then just bombing them from far away was actually pretty fun. I did a test on my own first, and then I went in together with my brother, and so that salvage operation has been conquered. We brought in missiles, we brought in a bit of uranium, some platinum, so we get resources to do some extra stuff as well, all from the all-in-one mothership. So that's really all I have at this point in this playthrough of Space Engineers, and I must say it's still an extremely fun game. The new weapons basically mean that against AI you have a massive advantage when it comes to range. Just take control of one of those weapons and try to fire at the enemy. It's just massive damage, big explosions, lots of stuff getting destroyed in just a couple of shots. Really satisfying, but of course kind of unfair, which I saw a video about Space Engineers that this is actually their next plan for development for the game, is to like change the grid or something like that, and that should have a big impact on how AI works, how NPCs can work, and the potential there, which I think is really cool. Because honestly, while I'm loving this update and I'm loving the new weapon systems, it feels like, all right, you can basically outsmart the enemy at this point a little bit with a good design and some powerful weapon systems and things like that. What I love the most is pure automation and the idea of drones and things like that, which is rather difficult to do without going into scripting, and I personally, I'm the type of gamer that just wants to see what the game from the developer is like, and I don't want to risk, I would say, mods and things like that. Although it's always an option, I tend to stay away from those, and so I would love to have better options, because for instance, I can make drones work to like go somewhere, pick something up, bring it back into a base, but they need a fixed point of arrival, which on a mobile base doesn't really work. So you always have choices to make in that regard at the moment. If we would have some more powerful tools on that end, I think it could be very cool, where you could, for instance, tell your drones to protect your ship or to protect your base without having to set up all the waypoints manually, or to pick up something there and then bring it back to the base and it finds it automatically. I'm not sure if that's exactly what the update is about, but it was definitely about the potential for AI NPCs and things like that. I think that will undoubtedly tie into the what drones can do. So I'm looking forward to all of that. I'm still having a little bit of fun with Space Engineers as well. See what else I want to do or want to try with the game. Might be an option to look into something else as well. At this point, still looking out for Total War Warhammer 3 to go on sale. Hasn't happened on this sale yet, but the Halo package is on sale again, so it's like $16 for like almost all the Halo games except for the last one. Could be interesting, and could be quite nostalgic, because I did love playing the first Halo back in the day. But overall, yeah, just some pretty relaxing gaming last week, and some very fun times in Space Engineers. So that was my last week in games, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.